So the article that I'm going to be analyzing is The Role of Lexical Aspect in the Acquisition of Tense and Aspect by Kathleen Bardovia-Harlig and Dudley W. Reynolds, published in 1995 in the Teachers of English to Speakers of Other Languages journal. The hypothesis of the experiment is that lexical aspect will influence the acquisition of simple past tense. It's a cross-sectional study testing 182 adult learners of English that range between 1 to 6 level proficiency. That was determined by a placement test. Of the learners, 15 native languages were represented, and then there was a control group of 29 native English speakers that were also tested. The learners were given 32 short passages that contained 62 test items and 26 distractors that tested verb forms not under investigation. They were given the base form of the verb and then asked to supply the missing word in the blank. So basically, John, work, blank, all late last night. The target was determined by the native speaker responses, and they were broken down into lexical aspectual class. So 14 achievements, 11 accomplishments, 12 activities, and 10 states. The results found that lexical aspectual class does influence the use of simple past tense as well as level of proficiency. Activity and state verbs showed lower appropriate use of simple past tense than the other verb classes, so research also concluded that learners tend to undergeneralize the simple past, and they did not use the simple past when they always could. Ultimately, lexical aspectual class plays an important role in the use of past tense by adult learners of English as a second language. The achievement and accomplishment verbs showed a high level of appropriate use of simple past even at lower levels of proficiency, while activity verbs showed less appropriate usage, only starting at level 2 proficiency, and then the state verbs showed low rates of appropriate usage for levels 1 to 3, and then showed higher rates than activity verbs in levels 4 and 5, and the same rate as activity verbs for level 6. An example stimuli would be John write blank 2 papers and finish blank all of his grammar homework. So the participant would have to fill in the blank with the correct use of simple past. Personally, I found this article really helpful because as a native English speaker, I don't really think about how I use the simple past tense. It just comes automatically. And I think it's really valuable in analyzing and doing studies on people who are learning to speak English and when they use the simple tense and how they do it, what kind of mistakes they make, especially when you break up the different verb types into these aspectual classes. It's going to be useful to our research project because we're going to be testing the use of past progressive for native Japanese speakers who are learning English. So we're going to also be using the 4 test groups that were used in this one. So activity, state, achievement, and accomplishments, the same as this study. So I think it'll be really helpful for our study.